Hello, my people. Welcome back. We've got some notes for you today. These are some notes about the piano, about some music reading, some different notes and rests and things like that. And these will help you on your bell ringers. You can always reference this video or go back to the PowerPoint so you can use them to fill in the bell ringers and then use them also to study for your quizzes. So these are for sections 1, 2, and 3. There we are. First, you'll notice that this is a copy of a keyboard, a piano keyboard, and there are sets of 2 black keys, like these, and these, and these, and there are sets of 3 black keys, like these, and these, and these. To the left of each set of 2, you'll see that there is the letter C. That is the key that we label as letter C. So every time you have a set of 2 black keys, you have a C. If you're moving in this direction, the keys are labeled alphabetically going forwards up until G. After G, it starts over again with A. So this would be C, D, E, F, G. Then we start over with A. So this is A, B, C. As you go in this direction, the notes get higher. As you go in this direction, the notes get lower and go backwards in the alphabet. So if we start here, we have C, B, A, G, remember, it only goes to G, so before A comes G, F, E, D, C. Now once we get back in the classroom with everyone and we can share things, we will get back to playing piano, but for now you have the basics. You can also go to virtualpiano.net and play some stuff. If you're using this as a PowerPoint slideshow, you can actually click on this and it will take you to this. So here's a C right beside the 2 black keys. D, E, F, G. Didn't want to play there for a second. A, B, C. And as you can hear, it's getting higher as I go in this direction to my right. If I go towards the left, it gets lower. C, B, A, remember we have to start over now, G, F, E, D, C. And it keeps getting lower as you go. So this is something you can kind of play around with and learn the letter names. Going back to the PowerPoint, our next slide tells us our finger numbers. Thumbs are always number 1. It's hard to remember because we always think of this as number 1, but it's not when you're playing the piano. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, and your pinky is 5. Okay? Moving along, we have some music symbols. I can move myself up just a hair here. The staff, when you see 5 lines together, that's called the staff. Bass clef is played with your left hand. That's my left hand. Of course, I'm mirrored because I'm doing the webcam thing. Treble clef is your right hand, or the higher notes. Time signature tells you how many beats are in a measure, the top number, and which type of note gets 1 beat. And in this case, it's a quarter note. This is like 1/4, but then it's 2 beats per measure, so we have the 2 up there. Double bar line shows you the end of a piece of music. Whole note, half note. We're going to talk more about these here in just a minute. Dotted half note, quarter note, eighth note, whole rest, quarter rest, eighth rest, half rest, flat sign. This is where those black keys come in on the piano when you have flats and sharps. A flat is 1 note lower than the original. A sharp is 1 note higher than the original, and that includes the black keys. So you've got what's called a half step when they're right next to each other, like from the C to a C sharp will be a black key. A natural just puts it back to what it was before. Moving along a little bit here, we have the parts to music. Higher notes are placed higher on the staff. Remember, the staff is the 5 lines. Lower notes are placed lower on the staff. So if you have a note here, it's lower than a note that's up here. Treble clef, again, that's the higher notes. Bass clef is the lower notes. When they're hooked together like this, it's called a grand staff. So 2 or more hooked together is the grand staff. Single bar line, a double bar line. Okay, that's the end of that section essentially. When we have the really dark double line, that's the end of the whole piece. We have a repeat sign. This is where it starts. This is where it ends. So you would repeat that measure. And the space between bar lines is a measure or a bar, like I just said. Now it's going to give you some note and rest values here, and I'm going to play some of these for you. If I can get my triangle out of my drawer. And I'm just going to use a pencil right now to play it. Okay. A whole note, you can see right here, gets 4 beats. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4 while the note is still ringing. So a whole note would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the note would stop. A half note gets 2 beats like this. 1, 2, and then it stops. A quarter note gets 1 beat, just 1. If I were to play 4 quarter notes in a row, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you can hear the difference between a whole note that the note just rings, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a quarter note that you play each one. Get it in the screen here. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are quarters. Now an eighth note gets half of a beat. So it takes 2 of them, 2 of these, to make the space of 1 of these. So if I'm playing quarter notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, my eighth notes are going to be twice as fast, and we count them 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay? A 16th note, it takes 4 of these to make 1 of these. Instead of 2 of these to make 1 of these, it's 4. So they're going to be really fast. If my quarter note is 1, 2, 3, 4, I've got to get 4 16th notes for each one of those quarter notes. So it's going to sound like this, and we count them 1 E and a. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. Okay? The rests are exactly the same amount of time, but they are silent. So if I were resting for 4 beats, I would still be counting in my head or out loud 1, 2, 3, 4, but my triangle doesn't play anything for that amount of time. Moving along, this just tells you most of what I just told you. Okay, these are what they look like, these are how many beats they get, and this is how you count them. Okay, the dot, this is one we haven't talked about yet, the dot gets half of whatever the note is worth, and then you add them together. So this is a half note that gets 2 beats. The dot then gets half of that. So when you add the 2 beats plus the 1, which is half of the 2, you get 3. So the dot gets half the note. Then you add them together. We have the half notes, the quarter notes, the eighth notes and rest, and then we have 16th notes and the 16th note, or 16th rest, excuse me. Notice that eighths and 16ths can be written a whole bunch of different ways. What you need to make sure you're looking at is the flag that's right here. or the bar that's right there. There's only one. When you go down to 16ths, those really fast ones, they have 2 flags or 2 bars. The same is true for the rest. An 8th note has one little blinky thing, and a 16th note has 2.